In today's video, we're going to be looking at the Reborn YF-23 coming for Russia. The United States held an Advanced Tactical Fighter (ATF) competition at the end of the Cold War, which resulted in two amazing fighter designs. The winner was the F-22 Raptor, widely regarded as the most capable air superiority aircraft of the 21st century, while the latter, the YF-23, is now on displays in museums in Torrance, California, Dayton, and Ohio. Stay till the end of the video to discover who has taken up this project and its implication on Russia. The Northrop McDonnell Douglas YF-23 is a single-seat, twin-engine stealth fighter aircraft that was developed for the United States Air Force, USAF. The advanced Soviet Su-27 and MiG-29 fighter prototypes were first observed by American surveillance satellites in 1978, causing worry in the United States. Both Soviet fighter planes were projected to lessen the maneuverability advantage enjoyed by the American fighter planes. This led the United States Air Force, USAF, to request input from numerous aerospace companies in 1981 on prospective features for the replacement for the F-15 Eagle, in a program they called the Advanced Tactical Fighter, or ATF. After consulting with aerospace industries, the USAF decided that air-to-air warfare would be the ATF's primary mission. Emerging technologies such as composite materials, lightweight metals, sophisticated flight control systems, more powerful propulsion systems, and stealth technology were to be used in the ATF. The United States Air Force, USAF, sent out a request for proposal, RFP, to several aircraft manufacturers in October 1985. In May 1986, the RFP was changed to allow for the evaluation of prototype air vehicles from two finalists. At the same time, the U.S. Navy stated that it will replace its F-14 Tomcat with a derivative of the ATF winner as part of the Navalized Advanced Tactical Fighter (NATF) program. Along with the USAF's planned procurement of 750 aircraft, the NATF program provided the purchase of 546 aircraft. Lockheed, Boeing, General Dynamics, McDonnell Douglas, Northrop Grumman, and Rockwell all submitted proposals in July 1986. Shortly after, the last two dropped out of the tournament. Following the submission of proposal ideas, Lockheed, Boeing, and General Dynamics created a team to develop whichever of their designs was chosen, if any. With a similar pact, Northrop and McDonnell Douglas created a partnership. On October 31, 1986, the Lockheed and Northrop proposals were chosen as finalists for Demonstration and Validation, DEMVAL. Both teams were given 50 months to build and test their prototypes, and both succeeded in developing in what they both called the Lockheed YF-22 and the Northrop YF-23. The YF-23 was created to satisfy the criteria of the United States Air Force for survivability, supercruise, stealth, and ease of maintenance. Supercruise requirements demanded supersonic flying for an extended period of time without the usage of afterburners. To lessen on the model's sensitivity to radar and infrared detection, Northrop drew on its experience with the B-2 Spirit and FA-18 Hornet. The United States Air Force initially wanted the aircraft to land and come to a complete stop inside 2,000 feet, 610 meters, which necessitated the installation of thrust reversers in their engines. But the thrust reversers were no longer required after the United States Air Force increased the runway length requirement to 3,000 feet, 910 meters in 1987. As a result, the engine nacelle housings of the aircraft could be made smaller. It was on the 22nd of June, 1990 that the first YF-23 designed prototype air vehicle 1, PAV-1, was unveiled. PAV-1 had its 50-minute first flight on the 27th of August 1990, with Alfred Paul Metz at the controls. The second YF-23, serial number 870801 PAV-2, took to the air for the first time on October 26, with pilot Jim Sandberg at the controls. The first YF-23 was painted charcoal gray and given the nickname Black Widow II in honor of the Northrop P-61 Black Widow fighter plane that flew over Europe during World War II. It had the red hourglass marking on the underside that looked similar to the marking on the underside of a Black Widow Spider for a short period of time before the Northrop management ordered that it be removed. Its second prototype was painted in two different hues of gray and was given the names Spider and Gray Ghost. The YF-23 was an unusual plane, with diamond-shaped wings and a profile with significant area ruling to reduce aerodynamic drag at transonic and supersonic speeds, as well as an all-moving V-tail that made it stand out. The cockpit was elevated and located near the nose of the aircraft in order to provide the pilot with a good view. There were 3 landing gears on the aircraft, 1 on the nose and 2 on the main landing gear. The weapons bay was designed to protect the aircraft's weapons, and it is located on the underside of the fuselage between the nose and the main landing gear. The cockpit is equipped with a center stick as well as a side throttle. The aircraft was powered by 2 turbofan engines, each housed in its own engine nacelle with S-ducts on either side of the aircraft's spine to shield the engine axial compressors from radar waves. The inlets have a trapezoidal frontal profile with specific porous panels in front that were designed to absorb the turbulent boundary layer then vented out over the wings of the aircraft. The first YF-23, PAV-1, was powered by Pratt & Whitney YF-119 engines, while the second PAV-2 was equipped with General Electric YF-120 engines. Unlike the YF-22, the aircraft had fixed engine nozzles rather than thrust vectoring nozzles. The YF-23's engine's exhaust streamed through troughs lined with heat-ablating tiles, same like the B-2's, to dissipate heat and shield the engines from infrared homing, IR missiles detection from below. On the 18th of September 1990, the first YF-23, powered by Pratt & Whitney engines, surpassed Mach 1.3, while the second, powered by General Electric engines, reached Mach 1.6 on November 29, 1990. The YF-22, on the other hand, reached Mach 1.58 in supercruise. With the afterburners, the YF-23 reached a high speed of Mach 1.8 and a maximum angle of attack of 25 degrees. Although reports claim a maximum speed greater than Mach 2 at altitude and a supercruise speed greater than Mach 1.6, the maximum speed is classified. The aircraft's weapons bay was outfitted for weapons launch and was used to test weapons bay acoustics, but no missiles were fired. Lockheed's YF-22 demonstration aircraft successfully fired AIM-9 Sidewinder and AIM-120 AMRAAM missiles. On November 30th, 1990, PAV-1 flew 6 times during a 10-hour period in fast-paced combat display. Flight testing was carried out till the end of December. For a total of 65.2 hours, the 2 YF-23s flew 50 times. The testing confirmed Northrop's predictions regarding the YF-23's performance. The YF-23 was more stealthy and faster than the YF-22, while the YF-22 was more agile. In 1991, the YF-22 was named the Victor after a 4-year research and evaluation process, and the Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor went into production. The U.S. Navy explored utilizing the ATF's production version as the foundation for a replacement for the F-14, but those plans were scrapped later. The 2 YF-23 prototypes are currently on display in a museum. Before we tell you about the country that has taken up the YF-23 project and what it means to Russia, be sure to subscribe for more content like this. As its 2 enraged neighbors, China and Russia, grew in power, Japan realized it needed to act fast. So in 1997, it decided to purchase some 5th-generation fighters. But a request to export the F-22 was denied by the U.S. Congress. As a result, Japan analyzed the issue objectively and sought counsel from the United States. The Northrop Grumman was the first to reply to the Allies' request for assistance, and it was at this point that the YF-23 was given a fresh life. Northrop Grumman allegedly responded enthusiastically to Tokyo's inquiry about potential partners in its F-3 stealth fighter program in 2018. While Northrop might try to bring the Y-23 back to life, it's more probable that they'll offer unique parts of the airframe and engine design that can be combined with new or current Japanese technologies. This is because several components of Northrop's 1980s design would need to be updated, particularly the old-fashioned radar-absorbent material coatings, which are still quite expensive on the F-22 compared to the modular panels on the modern F-35, and the avionics, which were never fully completed. Still, rather than beginning from scratch, the Japanese self-defense force may decide to build on the foundation of an existing and well-tested airframe. This might indicate that the Black Widow and Raptor will be pitted against one another over 3 decades later. Let us know what you think about the YF-23 in the comments section, and check out our video on the F-22 Raptor. See you in the next one.